The nemesis of Detective Ron Goodwin, a man who called himself Lou Castro but would not give up his real name, was behind bars after confessing to ID fraud. But even after 7 years of investigating, Goodwin was just getting started. He believed Castro was involved in much more serious crimes, heavy-duty stuff, maybe even those mysterious deaths. The plane crash that killed Mona, her boyfriend, and her daughter Lindsay. The death of Brian Hughes under a collapsed vehicle. That inexplicable head-on tragedy in which Sarah and Emily's mom, Jennifer, died. And Trish Hughes' drowning. As the investigators called everyone with links to Castro, the phone trail took Goodwin to South Texas.
It took us to South Texas because Patricia Hughes, the victim in the drowning, was from Beeville, Texas.
Goodwin questioned Trish's family, and a sister recalled Trish had gone with a guy way back when.
A guy by the name of Daniel Perez.
Had you ever heard that name in
Never.
all your years of trying to figure out who Lou Castro was?
No, I'd never heard that name.
Daniel Perez. Goodwin immediately contacted the local authorities, and it turned out there was a record of a Daniel Perez and a mugshot.
They faxed that to me that day.
I remember when Ron finally got the fax from Texas, and I snatched it out of his hands and said, "Where did you get that?" It was obvious that it was, the person we knew as Lou Castro, but now we, of course, knew he was Daniel Perez.
We got our guy here.
Yes.
Lou Castro was Daniel Perez, born in Aransas Pass, Texas in 1959. The record showed Daniel Perez had pleaded no contest to 2 sex crimes in the mid-1990s. But the cases had been dismissed because he was believed to be dead.
And the person believed in South Texas to have been dead for many years. Wasn't dead because you saw him in Wichita. You'd seen him driving his Corvettes.
That's right.
So he was on the lam.
He was on the lam.
In Kansas and Tennessee, interviews with the Angels Landing commune helped Goodwin connect the dots between 6 states and more than a dozen commune members over a period of about 15 years. And something else happened. Emily wrote a letter to Lou while he was serving time for ID fraud.
I said, I'm finally going where I want to go, and I'm doing the things I want to do. He wrote me back and chewed me out for not caring about him.
That was the price of being his little princess.
I was saying that I was happy, and he took that as a slap in the face, and I stopped talking to him.
Instead, Emily started talking to the investigators, but warily. She and Sarah trickled out their stories, fearful they too might be implicated in whatever Goodwin suspected.
It took a lot of questioning and lots of tears and lots of Detective Goodwin telling me that it was going to be all right and that I wasn't in trouble.
Sarah and Emily's whole terrifying saga began when Sarah was 17 and Emily just 10. A supernatural world began to emerge soon after their mom got to know the man they called Lou in 2001 as they prepared to move into Angel's Landing.
Mom said, Emily, I think Sarah was in the car too, but she said, does Lou seem kind of special to you? And I was like, yeah, he's pretty nice. And she's like, well, he's actually a seer.
A seer?
A seer. Mom said that he had told her that he was hundreds or thousands of years old and that he could see what was going to happen in the future. And that the reason we followed him was that she just had that instinct and just knew that she needed to be close to him because he could protect her and keep her safe because he knew it was coming.
Did you believe it?
I mean, I was a little skeptical at first, but I think when you're 9 or 10 and your mom says that this is really what's happening, you give it a little bit more credibility.
And it wasn't just Emily and Sarah's mom. Others at Angel's Landing believed Lou was a direct descendant of Geronimo and had the power to make it rain and bring good health to those at death's door.
Trish had told me about similar incidents where either Lou had been dead or an animal had been dead or somebody had been really sick and he made them better.
Did you believe it?
Yes. He could also see people like from the past. Like people had already died. He could see those people too.
See them because he said he was an angel.
Lou said, your mom is right. I am hundreds of years old. This isn't really my body. I've died several times, but this is just the one I'm in right now.
What did you think?
It seemed really cool. It was like being so special and being around this thing that nobody else gets to do.
Your very own angel.
Right. It's like seeing Santa Claus. You get really excited when you're 10 years old. And he was telling us that he would take care of us and he would always make sure that we were safe.
But safety meant Lou needed control.
He was the one that told everybody what they were going to do and when they were going to do it and how they were going to do that.
Really bossy guy, my way or the highway kind of thing?
Kind of. He was very good at, manipulating you, I guess you could say.
Was your mom vulnerable, do you think? He seemed to know where people's buttons were.
Yes, very much so.
He's stepping in like the boss, huh?
Yeah, he acted like he was my dad.
What do you think that thing was that he put together that you got pulled into, Sarah?
A cult.
Cult. And the guy you knew only as Lou Castro was the cult leader.
Yes.
What is that thing that he had? Did you feel that power?
Yeah.
He could say crazy things and you think he's telling you the truth?
Yeah.
Detective Ron Goodwin was incredulous listening to all of this, but nothing could have prepared him for what came next. Lou Castro, the seer, had 3 angel alter egos.
They were always watching over him: Daniel, Amber, and Arthur.
Like, Arthur was mean, and Daniel was kinder.
But you didn't want to meet either of these alter
No.
personalities, huh?
No.
Amber was the angel of death, so she would come around when somebody was going to die.
He could see who was going to die? Was that something he
Yes,
said was in his powers?
right.
And did you ever see that personality in him?
I did. He wouldn't blink. He would get this terrible grin that just looked evil.
The sisters say before their mom's death, Castro had a terrifying vision.
He predicted that my mom was going to die.
So how do you feel about this?
Devastated.
It was awful.
The outlandish stories were shocking to Ron Goodwin, a seasoned detective who was about to discover more about Lou Castro's power over life and death. Emily was about to take the detective back to that summer day in 2003 when Trish Hughes drowned in the swimming pool at Angel's Landing.
And her story is that Trisha Hughes is not an accidental drowning.
That's right.